Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is your host Majestic speaking with another episode of Mech Warrior Online here, and today we're going to be going through the Clan IIC Hero Clan Collection. We have 4 mechs to go through, and I'm going to go through the specs on each of them and which ones I actually think are worth purchasing. So we're going to go through each of them in weight class order, starting with the light mech, the Jenner IIC Collection Fury. Then we're going to go into the Deathwish Hunchback 2C, then the Skull Orion 2C, and then last but not least, the Keeper Highlander 2C. So we're going to go through each of these guys, starting from the lightest, ending with the heaviest. I'm going to go through the specs on each of these, and then close with a final opinion on them, which ones I think are worth purchasing. One thing I want you guys to keep in mind about the Clan IIC Heroes is these are not Omni-mechs, so you cannot switch out different Omnipods or components on these mechs in order to make them beneficial to what you would want on them. They are strictly come as is, but what is different about these guys is that you can switch out the engine. Yes, the clans are known for not being able to switch out the engine, but here we're going to be able to switch out the engines on these guys being Clan IIC, so definitely keep that in mind before purchasing. Obviously, this video is going to go through the overview of everything, and then at the end, it's going to be entirely my opinion whether or not I think they are worth purchasing. So take everything with a grain of salt. Obviously, this is just one form of opinion. I hope that you guys, look at a couple different opinions before you actually decide on purchasing. But let's dive right into it. So first, look at the prices here. We have $10, $15, $20, and $25. So all $5 increments as we go up in weight for a total of $70. Now, that's not, obviously I would like to see them even cheaper than that. You know, I would like to see like 5, 10, 15, 20, $20 for a single mech. Even though it's a hero and everything, you get a 30% C-bill bonus and everything. The price point for a singular mech in this game can kind of seem a little bit ridiculous and a little bit pricey at times. And it's no different here. I would have liked to see like maybe a little bit cheaper, especially if you're spending it on one specific variant. But they are keeping consistent at least. Because I feel like if they did make it cheaper, then people will be like, well, why are these cheaper than, a different pack or a different particular mech or the MC equivalent, therefore. So, just keep all that stuff in mind. $70 for all 4 of these guys. We're going to go through it. So let's hop right down and go to the light here. Our Jenner IIC Fury, 35-tonner, XL 280, goes 129.6 kph. That is without the speed tweak bonus in the new skill tree. And this is going to be after the all the new tech comes out. So keep that in mind. There are definitely a lot of options here in what you can do with these mechs. But from the standpoint of, the base stats here, so looking at what you get with the mech and how it's configured as is, I kind of like the look of it. Endo Steel, 10 double heatsinks, 7 jump jets. So it is jump jet capable, not ECM or mask capable. But then if we look at the hard points, 3 in the left, 3 ballistics in the left arm and right arm, and then 1 energy hardpoint in the center torso. I really like the sound of that, especially when the heavy machine guns are out. It's going to be a quick mover, have that center hardpoint there. Obviously, the heavy machine guns at close range are really going to lay into your opponents. So this is, I feel like this is intended to be a skirmishy, brawly, up close and personal kind of mech. Now, I know that there are going to be people that put like a UAC 20 on it or a Gauss rifle or something like that, in order to make this thing work, if it's even possible with the slots and available tonnage, because you can switch out the engine. Don't forget that. But I'm saying from the standpoint of what they offer and what the hard points are, having 6 ballistics on this particular light mech is definitely appealing. If you like that kind of hit and run, jump in there, tear a bunch of stuff up and dip out really quick. You put a massive engine in here that takes up a majority of it. You fill up the rest of it with some hard points, maybe a small pulse laser or a medium pulse laser, something like that, depending on what you want to allot for tonnage. It's going to be a very, very heat efficient mech, I'll tell you that, especially because the ballistics won't give off any sort of heat, but the only thing that will be is that 1 energy hardpoint. So it's up to you guys how you want to configure it. It does have the jump jet capability and everything, so it will have that ability to skirt around the battlefield, get out of tough situations fairly easily between the speed and those jump jets. But again, you're dipping in, dipping out, using those 3 ballistics on each side. If you do decide to stick with this kind of loadout between the heavy machine guns, it looks like there is a lot of stuff in here. So you might maybe even tune down the engine a little bit, fit the extra heavy machine gun, or even a combination of heavy machine guns and light machine guns, or just regular machine. It's all up to you guys how you want to customize it. But I do like the approach that they took with the Jenner 2C, because the Jenner 2Cs are known for being pretty tanky, and I think that this is a very complementary kind of build and variant of this particular mech. So I like what I'm seeing here. 3 ballistic, and 1 energy, 2 AMS in each torso, in case that's something you care about for missile defense. But the main purpose of this, I think what they're trying to steer everyone towards, is that close range combat. Let's head over to the medium. Let's see, the Deathwish, the Hunchback 2C Deathwish. First of all, I love the name of it. Not that that's a reason to even consider purchasing it, but it is Clan Smoke Jaguar. I really do like that clan and the lore and everything for Clan Smoke Jaguar. Deathwish is a pretty awesome name for a hero. I have I do have a love relationship with the Hunchbacks, whether it's a 2C variant or one of the Inner Sphere variants. I really do love the Hunchies, and this one is going to be an interesting one, I'll tell you that. Just looking at the stats overall, 50 tonner, XL 200. Obviously they didn't put a big engine in it or anything like that, so obviously everyone's probably going to strip that out. Maybe go towards an XL 275 or a 255 if I had to guess. Does have endo steel, bunch of double heat sinks, no jump jets, no ECM, no mask. Now that's a little troublesome, especially when you look at the hard points, and the particular location on the Hunchbacks has always been a blessing and a curse. The torso mounts are always fantastic. Everyone always loves them. They're high mounts. It's easy to shoot, at your opponents with them because they're within direct line of sight. It's the low mounts that are always placed in the arms that everyone always had this trouble with. And how they place the hard points on here are the left arm and right arm have 2 energy hard points. So you're talking about over 50% of this mech's loadout is going to be located in those 2 arms. And then in the left torso, you have 1 energy hardpoint and an AMS hardpoint. And then in the right torso, that very, very typical right torso hard or mount up here is going to encase a ballistic hardpoint. Now, to have really 1 energy and 1 ballistic that will be in your line of sight, that you can see everything, that if you can see it, you can shoot it kind of approach. But then having to worry about these low-mounted arm hardpoints, I'm a little concerned here. I really do like that at least they did put some stuff up in the torsos, that they're not really trying to throw everyone off and put everything in the arms, but even then, it's a wider mech. Look at how the placement of the arms are. So there's going to be a lot of tweaking and a lot of adjustments that each pilot is going to have to make in order to get comfortable with it, because the hard points are definitely unique for the Hunchbacks, especially when it comes to the arm mounts. So the aesthetic on this mech is absolutely fantastic. I love this paint scheme. I even love the paint scheme on the Fury and everything. But the cosmetics are not a reason to, purchase unless, that's something you're really into. I'm looking for, not only the aesthetic, but I'm looking at the usability, the durability, and how it could actually conform to different playstyles. And this one is definitely a little bit iffy for me. So I'll go through, all of these and then give my final opinions at the end. But, thinking about having those 2 energy hard points where they are typically located, they're right on, the fists of the mech, and that's very down and out, if you will, for where the typical hard points that you are seeing on the Hunchbacks are normally located. So it will have the new tech by then, so maybe there's different ways of configuring this mech that are interesting enough to make you guys want to purchase it. But as for where those hard points are actually located, I'm concerned. I'll leave it at that. I really do like the Deathwish and the Smoke Jag lore and everything like that, but that's not enough of a reason for me to purchase in and of itself. Heading over to the heavies, the Orion 2C Skull. I really started getting into the Orion 2Cs. I really like the Orion 2C chassis. It's definitely bulky, it's tanky, it's got great hard points, especially on the 2C variants that already exist. And going through this one, 75 tonner, a standard 300. So obviously going with an XL engine in there, you'll definitely save some tonnage. And that's with the 64.8 kph there. Obviously, with the Clan variants, putting a Clan XL engine in there, you won't blow up based off losing a side torso. So the standard 300 in there, not really not very conducive to what everyone is probably going to wind up putting in this thing. They're probably going to put a huge XL engine if I had to guess, especially once I go through the hard points with you guys. But if we check out what it does have a max engine rating of 360, so an XL 360 obviously sounds like it would conform very well with this mech. Endo steel, 14 double heat sinks, no jump jets, no ECM, but it does have mask. That is probably the biggest selling point for this particular mech, is the mask capability. Going above and beyond that maximum speed rating, because this thing's going to go a healthy 70 kph on average with how everyone is probably going to build it out. So to have that mask there, you're going to have close to probably a 90 kph or plus heavy mech that's very tanky running across the battlefield if you decide to use that mask module. So definitely keep that in mind. But again, the one thing that concerns me now is not the positioning of the hard points, but the number of the hard points. The left arm and right arm only have one energy hard point. And then in the left torso and right torso, you have one energy and one missile in the left torso and one ballistic in the right torso. And that right torso mount is very low. It's underneath the cockpit. The left side, it's either gonna. I hope it's this high mount. Yeah, it's probably is this high mount. So that's definitely a plus. But that's gonna be the energy and the missile. So I'm guessing the energy is gonna maybe boat down here, and then the missile's up here, or vice versa. And that's what concerns me. On a 75 tonner, I'm concerned about the number of hard points. This isn't an Omni-Mech, so you can't even switch these out, to get that C-build bonus, to mix and mess around with the hard points that you really like. You are stuck. You have to stick with what's here and kind of deal with it. You can only switch out the engine. The new tech will be in the game, so obviously everything is subject to change. But this is another one that I'm a little worrisome about. A little bit of a yellow to red flag here, based on the fact that, looking at it, I would have liked to see, a little bit more usability out of this right torso, because they are the low-mounted ballistics normally. So that would have been cool, even if they switched it up to maybe like 3 energy or 2 missile or something like that. And then, in the right or the left torso, they probably would have gotten more people to purchase it if instead of 1 energy, 1 missile, they did 2 missile, or even, again, like 3 energy or something like that. So you have 3 and 3. That would have been a unique look, and then do something weird or different with the arms. Even if you did just left the 2 energy there, so you'd have 8 energy hard points, between all of the hard points on this mech if you were to just duke it out with energy slots. So that's just my 2 cents on there. I do love the fact that it has mask, though. That's pretty awesome, especially in an Orion 2C. It's very tanky mech, so for them to move across the battlefield, especially if you fill out the structure skill tree on this thing, it's going to be even more of a mini Atlas than it already claims for itself to be. So definitely take that into consideration, but I'll give a final thought at the end. Moving on to our 4th and final mech in this pack, we have the Highlander Keeper. 90 tonner, XL270, max engine rating 325, going pretty slow with that XL270 in there, so I'm guessing people are either going to go at least an XL300 or they might max it out there. Does have jump jet capability, does not have ECM or mask capability, so definitely take that into consideration. It can hop around on the battlefield, but it's not going to be under an umbrella or anything like that, or moving anywhere close to, above, close to 80 kph or anything like that, which would have been pretty cool or unique about it. As for the weapons, equipment, and the hard points, you know, the new tech will be there. I say that, I've said that before every single one of these that we've gone through. But for me, it's more about the hard points, because the mixing and matching of the hard points, you'll adjust based on your tonnage available and how you want your playstyle to come out on the battlefield. But how this mech is set up, I really, really like the look of this Highlander, specifically on these torso and arm mounts. And they did a crisscross pattern, and I want to talk about that because that's actually kind of interesting. You have 2 missile in the left arm and a ballistic in the left torso, versus 2 missile in the right torso and a ballistic in the right arm. So you have, so as I was saying, you have the 2 missile and even an energy here in the left arm. That's on this side, which you can't see. So you have the 2 missile and the 1 energy here, and then you have the 2 missile up here. So the right torso, left arm, left torso, right arm, for the 2 different weapon types there. So you're talking missiles here and here, ballistics here and here, and then that lonesome random energy weapon in the left arm as well, and the AMS on the left torso. So I think that that's actually a very, very unique look at this mech, specifically the Highlander 2C, this keeper here. You can't switch out the hard points. This is not an Omni mech again, so you're stuck with what you got, and I do kind of like that approach. You know, if you go, you know, even SRM 6s, Streak 6s, something like that. You know, ballistics in the torso, maybe a Gauss rifle, or UAC 10 and a UAC 10 down here, something like that. It'll be a nice mech, and then you fill out the rest of the tonnage that you didn't put into an engine. You put it towards the heat sinks just to make sure it's heat efficient enough. You know, so that's really the take there. I really like the look of this mech. As for overall thoughts on these mechs, which ones I would actually consider purchasing right now, and which ones I might hold off a little bit before, you know, I dive into it anymore or think about it anymore. I'm actually going against the grain on this video, and you know, I'm not doing it intentionally. This is just, again, my opinion. You guys know I am a medium and heavy favorited pilot on the battlefield. But for me, the light and the assault mechs here look like the winners. Between the Jenner Fury and the Keeper, I think those are the best bang for your buck if you're going to decide between those two. So if you're a light pilot, definitely pick up the 2C. If you or the Fury, if you're an assault pilot, I think the Keeper here is a good look. So you know, hopefully I will be able to get enough funds to purchase all of these mechs and give all of them a review for you guys once they actually make their way into the game. But you know, that's, if there isn't proof enough there that I'm not being biased, that there, I mean, I don't know what else is, because I'm literally going with the 2 classes of mechs that I barely take out on the battlefield, in especially in relation to the mediums and the heavies. So yeah, the Keeper I think is definitely a good grab. And the 2C, the Fury Jenner, is definitely another good grab, especially between the uniqueness, the versatility there, the mix-up, the change in the loadout, the different approach to these mechs. You know, the Jenner, especially the 2C variants, and even the Inner Sphere variants, are very, very energy and missile oriented. So now when you're throwing in that many ballistics, it's definitely a cool grab for me, that I would definitely want to pick up. And the Highlander 2C, again, you know, you have those high mounted weapons here in the right torso and the left torso, and then you know, that crisscross pattern between the ballistics and the missiles I think is very unique and neat. So you know, that's definitely my appeal there. As I mentioned to you guys, what my concerns are with the medium and the heavy here, the Deathwish and the Skull. You know, unless you're you're a collector, you really want these mechs, and you just want to have them in your arsenal to use out there on the battlefield and just see how they work. Maybe put heavier weapons on the Skull and try and make something work with the very, very low mount. There's a good, actually, depiction of the low mounts for the Hunchback, and they stick out a little bit. So that's what I mean by the adjustment by the pilot, to have to kind of conform and figure out how to use this mech when over half of your loadout is in these arms, which can probably easily get taken off. So my 2 cents, that's there. The Fury and the Keeper are the ones that I would probably focus on if I were you guys, and I'd probably hold off, at least for now, on the Deathwish and the Skull. Maybe wait until you know, you actually see them in game and how they perform, and even mess with the variants are available in the, especially in the inner sphere. The inner sphere does have, like I know the 4SP that has the high mounts and the low mounted energy. So you can at least get used to that and see if it's something that you're willing to tweak your opinion on. And the Orions are also in the game as well. So if you like those low mounts, that's pretty much what you're going to be focusing on here with this mech as well, except for that one missile and or energy hardpoint that'll be in the left torso. So that's my 2 cents. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope this was informative. I hope it helped you at least in a little bit in making a decision on what mechs to pick up and which ones you would actually consider purchasing. Again, look around, see if there are other opinions out there. Maybe someone else has a different experience with some of these mechs that you might want to take into consideration before purchasing. I do hope to actually purchase all of these so that I can demo them out there before you guys spend money on it. If you do want to help out in that capacity, I do have links in the description for Patreon and PayPal so that I can pick these mechs up. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode of Mech Warrior Online. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun making it. I like going through the new stuff that they come out with, and even just seeing how it's different. I love the paint schemes. I love the aesthetic that they put into these mechs. Obviously, these are not actual accurate representations of the hard points that we're talking about here, but they do give at least some sort of indication, and as for you guys to where to imagine all these hard points on these mechs, that seems to be like a cool little ad there. So thank you guys so much again for tuning in. I really do appreciate all the support that you guys have given. Again, anything that you want to do to help support the channel, keep me going, I really do appreciate it. Links are in the description. You don't have to help though. I want to emphasize that it's not required or anything like that. As you guys know, I just like doing this for the fun of doing it. So thank you guys so much again for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you all on the next one. Take care, guys.